Friends, how are you doing? Let's have a conversation about. I swear, I think these are going to be the two biggest stocks to hold in your portfolio for the next 5 years. I really do mean that, and let's talk about it. Hey, friends, hope you're well. Going right into the conversation, we're in a very special place right now with the stock market, and we've got SoFi, we've got Palantir, and we've seen both CEOs here become these mini kings that are rising in their new worlds of tech, bank, industry, and even SoFi. Obviously, there's a lot of people that are be commenting right now saying it's more or less a tech company too. I get the conversation, but we're going to say it's a bank right now, so everyone's on the same page here. But both these companies are, in a lot of ways too, financially, they're very close with quarterlies here. SoFi is catching up real quick here. That last quarterly they had was, a big one. In this next one that we're going to be getting here could definitely be just $100,000 away from $1 billion quarterly here, if not less than that. So let's go right into SoFi and just talk about this real fast. So SoFi today had another amazing day. We went right back up. SoFi is looking for $30. It wants $30, and I think it's going to get $30 here before people know it. I think if this is the moment, if there was a moment, this is the moment this month, because obviously the Feds will be talking here and we potentially will be getting rate cuts. Now, with that, and I say rate cuts, obviously one is guaranteed, two, potentially maybe three, we're hopeful. So with that, SoFi, obviously being a bank stock, will do great. This will be great for them. And this is something that we saw, like even last year, we saw this with Anthony, their CEO. He literally talked about this, where he said, if Trump wins this election, then I'm hopeful that we will see rate cuts soon enough, because even back then, before Trump took the election, he was talking about rate cuts. He wanted rate cuts. So now we're finally at this place where we could be getting some more rate cuts, bigger rate cuts, and this is where SoFi could really do well. And this is where the CEO Anthony has said, hey, SoFi is ready, SoFi is wanting, and this is going to do really well for them. So this is why I really believe the conversation of leapfrogging into some bigger price ranges here this month alone and going into October here could really shock a lot of people with what SoFi is about to do. So the next thing here that I believe we could see in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, all in this big cluster of time here that we're going to have here. SoFi being put in the S&P 500, it's headed that way. Everyone's thinking it. Everyone's saying it. It looks like it's high potential for that to happen. Okay, that's definitely a situation that could occur next year, 100%. I mean, they are on track for all the right check marks. Okay, $100. I think SoFi 100%. This time next year, maybe a little after that, depending on how more aggressive these quarterlies get, more partnerships, what do rate cuts look like 6 months from now, economy, everything, what is SoFi up to? That is a very real conversation, getting closer to that $100 price tag. And then, obviously, much later on in the future here, maybe 4 or 5 years down the road here, even more, could we be talking about splits? Could there really actually be a stock split here, depending on how aggressive the price range gets here? I mean, you got to think about this. SoFi is growing at a very alarming rate. The stock will be a lot of money here before people really, expect it to be. A lot of people were very bearish on SoFi, and were saying even 8 months ago, this stock will never make it to $20 and it will never hold $20. What are you talking about? Look at what they're producing. And two, I didn't even put this on here, but two, you got to think somewhere in that 5-year mark, kind of what I'm talking about here, dividends. SoFi could say, hey, we're a bank stock. We've got a lot of money in the bank. We've done well. We're part of ETFs, mutual funds, all this kind of stuff. We're going to start doing dividends. It may not be a big one. It may just be a little bitty dividend attached to the share, but we'll take it. Imagine 5 years from now, you've got a lot of SoFi. You've got a lot of shares. And then they say, hey, well, now you're going to start getting paid for those shares. You've got a nice, healthy stock in the S&P 500. Maybe there's a stock split within 5 years. And now you're going to start getting dividends. Holy smokes. What are we talking about here? Friends, I think there is a lot of opportunity for what's about to happen here. I think $30, I think we can look at that and go like, okay, well, $30 is coming. Okay, that's more than less coming. What I really am curious about here with these next quarterlies that are essentially be here less than 60 days, this Q3, is this where we could really see SoFi bust into this $30, $40 position? I really think this is very possible, especially if we get at least 2 rate cuts. Because think about this, okay, Feds come out here and they say, hey, we're going to do a rate cut. Also, we're going to do a rate cut in October. Well, what is in October? October, in the beginning of November, is where we're going to see all these quarterlies start to come back out with all these big tech stocks. And 2, SoFi will be releasing quarterlies right around that time too. So SoFi could come out with these huge quarterlies, another rate cut. Oh my God. I mean, this is going to be a feeding frenzy of what is going to be set up here in the future. Really think about what could take place here in just like 50 days, essentially. I mean, that's nothing. So this is a very real situation where SoFi could just really start to leapfrog. Think about what just happened this past year with Robinhood. Think about what happened there. I mean, it was literally like yesterday where I remember talking about Robinhood stock being at $20, $30 and like, wow, this is growing really aggressively. And then when that $1 billion quarterly came out of theirs, I mean, the stock just went crazy. Not to mention, they're coming out and saying, hey, we're going to be more of a fundamentally a bank and, we're pushing into crypto, all this kind of stuff. But 2, that was kind of like a shadow of what we could see here with what SoFi could undoubtedly walk into 100%. So, I think there's a lot of argument here that, this could really get a lot more aggressive than what people may think it could be. I really do mean that. SoFi is looking for higher numbers. There's going to be a situation where this is just what's happening. It's being sold, not much, but bought up more aggressively, to where this 25, 26 turns into 27, 28, 29, 30, and we start breaking into 30s here, maybe by October, okay, end of September, who knows? I think this is very possible. I'm hopeful. Obviously, I'm drinking the juice. I want it to happen here, but, if there was ever a setup for something to really push into higher numbers and in the moment, this is 100% that moment. So that's my little conversation on SoFi here. I'm seeing this road here right now with what's going on with SoFi, and I swear I think this is what we're about to watch here. I think this is the movie we're about to see play out here. So I'm hopeful 100%. In Palantir, I think Palantir is just doing what Palantir does. I think this is just what is going on. There's no secret here. There's no secret sauce. There's nothing. If you've been here with Palantir, you're going, yep, it's doing exactly what Palantir does. We come out with quarterlies. We push up pre-quarterlies. Quarterlies come out. Boom, amazing. Another push on top of the push. And then, boom, what do? We anchor into new position with a sell-off. Okay, the new sell-off here, so when these quarterlies happened, they came out $1 billion plus. Okay, great. That was Q2. Palantir here, we were paying essentially right under 190 for a day there. Palantir was like 189 and some change, okay? We sold off down to this 150, 160 zone. We're anchoring in right here. The worst we've seen is this 140 zone, okay? If you can get in 140s, that's a bargain day. That's a bargain day, okay? Now, the market right now, from what we know, there's not going to be too many more essentially tidal wave days. Obviously, Thursday, we've got inflation coming out, but essentially, the market right now is going, bring it. Bring the bad news. We don't care. Bring the bad news. Why is the market saying that? The market's saying that because the market wants more bad news. To go into this Fed conversation the next 2 weeks where the Feds are like forced to have to do maybe multiple rate cuts because the market's already priced in a rate cut at least. So if they can get 1, 2 rate, maybe 3 rate cuts out of this year, this is gonna help every stock, obviously. And in Palantir here, undoubtedly, I know I sound like a broken record, but you have to know this because I'm obsessed about this stuff and I watch it like a hawk. Palantir, even when that Q2 came out here, there were deals that were finalized after that Q2, right before and after. Okay, so what does that tell us? That tells us that there's going to be more money even on this Q3 that's coming out here. So Q3 undoubtedly should be somewhere in this $1 billion zone plus. Is a billion point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? What is it going to be? We don't know, but undoubtedly it's going to be pretty big. It's going to be pretty aggressive. So this more than likely will help push Palantir back into this, $190, $200 range. I think this is coming undoubtedly. Tech stocks do not care. They have no mercy on people that are not willing to go with them right now. That is something we have seen 100%. Palantir is merciless. It does not care. It is going to run. It's going to break all of the bears' hearts. It is going to continue to do what it's doing here. It's just a repeat in history here. I've tried to make it plain as I can here on this chart here, just so someone can watch the structure of what we've seen here with Q3 of 2024, Q4 of 2024, Q1 of 2025, then Q2 here of this year, August, and that 1 billion, and now we're going into Q3 here, less than 60 days. And it looks like we're just doing the same thing. I suspect by the end of October here, the market could be potentially rolling pretty good. And Palantir here will probably push right back into 170, 180s pre that quarterly number 3. That quarterly will come out more than likely. It's going to be another 48, 49, 50% on top of the last one, and that's where we could get $200. So friends, that's probably, I'm hopeful. I wish I had a genie lamp to say, hey, this is what's happening, but I'm just going off based on what we could see, the breadcrumbs that have presented themselves to us right now, and I think this is kind of what we're dealing with right now. So I really do wish everyone the best of luck. I really do. I mean that. I think there is high potential for people to make so much more money by the end of this year. I think there's honestly higher gains coming here in the last moment of the year here than we've seen maybe the rest of the year. And obviously there's people that did very well because they bought that dip, the tariff dip, and then came back up with the market here. And there's still high potential that we could see even more. This is where the 7,000 point S&P 500 talk comes into play here. So yeah, friends, oh my God. Yeah, we're about to see something here. Take care of yourself, everyone. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.